great question came in as you were going through that. This is a follow-on question, and it's in your experience, and all three of you could answer if you like. In your experience, if there is not a piece of equipment existing at the CDMO that you might require for your program, everything else being equal, you want to work with that CDMO. Do you find that the CDMOs are asking you to pay for them or to help pay for them, and that might uh, give the CDMO more interest in your program? So maybe I'll stay here with you, Scott, for a moment, and then see if the other two want to talk with that about that
Yeah,
as well.
I'm gonna give you the it depends kind of thing. So it depends on the CDMO, and it depends on the piece of equipment, of course. If they're not going to use it for any other client ever, and it's something very specific to my process, I would think that they would want me to pay for it. If they were going to use it for other clients as well, and they were going to incorporate it into their processes, I would want them to pay for it because they're going to use my. I don't want to give them my revenue or my capex in order for them to make money off of my product. So it really does depend. And then if it is my piece of equipment, then I'm going to control it and say you can't use it for anybody else anyway. So it depends on what they want to do.
Is that what you think, Praveen?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Scott said. The other layer that I'll just throw in there is sometimes CMOs will go to particular clients and they'll say, you're doing a lot of business with us, and based on everything you're telling us, the project is going well, the product is going well, and we want to add X, another fill suite, another compounding room, another reactor train, and we would like you to make a capital investment in us, and there's going to be a return, obviously. You will get a certain percentage of that line capacity, or you will get a certain discount based on our current pricing, or maybe we'll price for 5 years. So, in this day and age of inflation, it's coming down, but still, even if you say it's 5 or 6%, maybe 5 years of living at $100 is very meaningful for you. And so there is that, again, win-win type of situation where they are getting capital markets, so it's non-dilutive to them. They are getting capital, and they don't have to go to the capital markets because it will be non-dilutive to them if they can get internal investors from their pool of people who are already working with them. But absolutely, if it's a piece of equipment that only you will use, yeah, you will have to pay for it. The other thing I just wanted to bring up, sometimes when you go to a facility, you'll be walking yourself into a capital purchase because of the base process that they have. I know that I've worked with fill sites where they use stainless steel mobile containers, and that's their base process. So every time you bring your product to that place, be ready to pony up, X thousands of dollars to buy a stainless steel vessel for yourself. And that's just, again, the learning process of a CMO. And I think there was one question about where can you get said information. And honestly, the friend network is probably one of the best sources of information. I was thinking of a time when I was working with a company, and at that time I happened to be in the small molecule manufacturing sciences group. And based on our relationship and understanding of the technical capabilities of one of our CMOs, we decided to reach out to them and say, we are really interested in continuous manufacturing. And they said, well, this is something of an area that we are slightly interested in, but we are actually looking for a partner to work with on that. So to Scott's point, are you willing to coach us? And we know how to do things in a compliant GMP manner. And we have people who have technical smarts and on-floor technicians who know how to do things and are also smart. We should be able to put our heads together and to get to a continuous manufacturing process. Continuous manufacturing is not ATMP, but the point being is that you may have a CDMO that you've worked with in the past with a different kind of technology. And when you think about it, you're just like, you know what? I think these people could do it. I would just need to show them how to do it, as Scott had mentioned. So I'm going to go to your question, Louis, about how do you decide on if it's something that's an FTE contract or a fee-for-service contract? Well, sometimes it's actually based on the place where you're working at, because I've worked with some manufacturing partners who absolutely hate FTE. They just outright, they'd rather get a clear sense of what you want. They'll bid on it and say, this is how much it's going to cost you to get from A to B, as long as you don't make any detours. How many times have we not made a detour? Please. That's what change orders are for.
Right.
But that's how that company wanted to do. On the other hand, a classic case where FTE models come in is things that are repetitive. So testing labs are one of them. If you know you're going to have 4 products coming through over the course of a year between stability testing, release testing, and ad hoc testing, maybe the FTE contract is the way to go. And then you are just pulling your own resources to get X, Y, Z. They'll say, okay, this amount of work is probably 4 people's worth, but why don't you pony up for 6? So anytime you have surge, you're all set. You're good to go. So I think that's where FTEs come in when it's repetitive and it's constant over a period of time, or it could be like scientist research. It's open research over that time, and you've got four people in an extended bench from your existing laboratory who can do work for you. You just have to tell them what to do and how to do it properly.